All right, y'all, don't mind that random board on the field cultivator. Don't mind that. That's got to go back to the shed. But anyway, today's the day. I think we're going to be using her today. At least that's the hope. Everything goes well. We haven't hooked up our cylinder yet. We'll have to unhook our hydraulic top link because we only have two hookups back here, or one set of hookups, I should say. On the back of the 995, we got the drawbar centered up, and we took the strap part off that had like an extra top bit to it. Took that off, and I think today is gonna be our day. Today's gonna be our day because it is 65 degrees in December. It's beautiful out here. Nice, not a cloud, hardly in the sky, as you can tell. Lens flare, gotta love it. But anyway, it is super nice here, so might as well get out and do a little tillage, right? So this is what the garden looks like before. This is after disking it a couple times. For the most part, it did disc up fairly well. It's a little uneven, but that's actually not a big deal for winter. So we mostly just want to use the field cultivator just as a toy, basically. We want to get it out and try it and see how it works and stuff. So that's kind of our goal for today. You can't hardly tell it was pumpkin patch out here, and actually it has dried quite a bit since the other day, so we are good to go. And you don't know any like context on this cylinder, do you? Besides it's been hanging on the wall for ever.
That's about it.
All right, guys, we are now jumping into voiceover mode. As you can probably tell, Dad and I are going to fight this cylinder on there. It really wasn't that bad. Actually, looking back at this, the one thing that I would do is probably take that pin that's in the bottom of that cylinder there and take it to a wire brush or a wire wheel or something and clean it up, because it's a little rusty. It's been in that cylinder for a long time. As you heard me ask Dad in that last clip, does he have any context on the cylinder? And he said no. So the only thing I can tell you about the cylinder is it is the one cylinder. I don't know how many Grandpa had before the auction. It auctioned in 96. And it's the one cylinder that he saved after the auction, because, you know, he kept the 995 here, the case tractor, and I'm assuming he just kind of thought to himself like, hey, might as well keep one. You never know, might need it someday. So he kept it, basically, and it's been hanging on the wall in the shed probably until we had flood prep for the flood of 2019. So beyond that, it's been hanging on the wall in the shed on a big hook. It's probably been in the background of a ton of videos. And I don't know, it's kind of funny. It's been hanging there for all these years, and we finally get to use it on here, as we've nicknamed this field cultivator, Tetanus on Wheels. Some of you were saying it doesn't look very rusty. Okay, all right. I mean, it is. There's a fair bit of rust. Removing the safety stop, by the way, the lockup, the lock to keep the thing up. So the weight of the unit will actually be on the cylinder now, which is pretty cool. That's pretty neat, right? The hoses on this cylinder are very long. We will be getting new ones. I don't know if I filmed us putting new ones on there. There's new ones on there already, but that's okay. Yeah, you can see they're a little in need of replacement as well. But anyway, they will work for today. That is for sure. And you can see where they're hooked up there to the 995. Unhook the hydraulic top link, get it out of the way, kind of thing. And we'll be good to go. Some drawbar action for this tractor. It really has not had that much. So here's the first time everything's, cycling. We're picking the wheels all the way off the ground with the cylinder, which is pretty cool. I didn't anticipate it doing that, but I also have never really been this close to a field cultivator, at all. So this is kind of a first experience for me. And how cool is it that I got to film it and share it with you guys as well? So I think it was pretty neat, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. The dad is on the tractor. He is kind of trying to figure out like a depth, we'll say, of how deep we want to go. And we kind of looked at the cylinder just a minute before we put it on, and I was like, there's threads in there. You could see threads. But we didn't realize what this was. Dad doesn't remember using this cylinder way back in the day, like when Grandpa was still farming. So yeah, so the cylinder has this basically, it's a threaded stop, we'll say. There you go. Built right into the end. And the cool thing is it's actually a kind of a 2-stage, we'll call it. So you have like inner threads and outer threads. So it actually adjusts out quite a bit. I was actually really surprised by this. We did some more, but anyway, it's kind of cool. Kind of cool that it's built right in. I figured we were going to have to go to like, we'll call it a redneck store, like Tractor Supply or something, one of those type stores, and buy some of those like clip on hydraulic cylinder stops. Cause like I said, we just didn't know that this cylinder had this, but hey, now we know. And, it's pretty handy, not gonna lie. So we're pretty happy with it. Another thing we are going to be doing very soon to the field cultivator is new tires. Definitely new tires and the lift mechanisms. We'll be working on that as well, because there's quite a bit of slop, a lot of stuff worn out in the lift mechanism on this field cultivator. So we will be working on that quite a bit, but that is for future videos, because I'm sure I'll make at least one more video about this thing over the winter. Can't promise it next week or anything, because this was filmed before we had Rona here in my house, and the 2 weeks that we had Rona, we really didn't go to the farm much. And if we did, well, I've sat in a lawn chair and slept. So I'm not even going to lie. That's pretty much what happened. So anyway, to the garden, the maiden voyage for Tetanus on Wheels. There we go. Now, this is loose dirt. This is the dirt that, we dished up in the last video or 2 videos ago and stuff. And it dried out a lot too, that's for sure. But it's pretty cool, the maiden voyage. Right there, that's it. That's the first pass that this field cultivator made on our farm. First pass this field cultivator's made in the dirt in a long time. I need to actually ask the guy some more specifics about this thing, like when's the last time they used it? How old do they think it is? Some stuff like that. I don't know how many acres they farmed either, but this thing's been over a lot of ground. Oh, and you guys were guessing in the last video in the comments, I told you guys to guess how much we paid for this bad boy. I think we got a pretty decent price. We were supposed to pay $150 is what we agreed with the farmer, and we actually ran into him at Lowe's like the day before we brought it back to the farm. And we had already talked to the guy a few times on the phone, but we ran into him at Lowe's, and I was like, hey, let me just like pay you for the thing right now. And he's like, yeah, cool. All I had on me was 20s. So not trying to like brag or anything. It's a $20 bill, but so I ended up paying $160. I didn't have any change for 20. He didn't have any change for 20. Not a big deal. 160 bucks. That's what I paid for this thing. Between hydraulic hoses, because this is the only thing that we have that requires a cylinder, so we have to put that cost towards the field cultivator. Hydraulic hoses, tires. We want to do all new shovels eventually. It needs them, or the sweeps, shovels, whatever you want to call them. It needs all new ones. It'll get by for a few years if we decide, or we might do the front row this year and like maybe the middle row the next year, and maybe like the back row a third, say in 3 years or something, or maybe do like front row this winter, and maybe like next fall or late summer do the middle row or something. I don't know. We're gonna end up spending more kind of fixing the thing up and getting it to really good working condition than we spent on the actual unit. So kind of funny, but you can see it's doing its job. It works. The 995 is pulling it quite well, and it wasn't really grunting. Of course, this is loose ground, you know, and it's not super wet or anything. It worked up so nice. Dad got off the tractor, and I don't have footage of this, and I wish I did. And he's like, that was fun. Like, he had fun, you know, because Dad grew up a farmer, and this is stuff Dad would have done when he was farming, you know, growing up and stuff. And I thought it was really neat that, like, you know, Dad had fun on the tractor. So yes, I'm bummed that I wasn't the one on the tractor using it, but I wanted to film, and I thought it was really cool that Dad could have some fun on the old 995, you know. I thought that was cool. And I know he's going to watch the video and he's going to hear me say that. Whatever. It is what it is. But this thing works quite well. The only real downfall that I see with this operation is where the hydraulic control lever is on the tractor itself. It is basically behind and to the right of the driver. So you can see when Dad was turned to the right, it's like kind of back a little more and straight down. I mean, there's a little orange handle there, and that's how you actually operate the hydraulics, the rear hydraulics here on the tractor. So it's kind of like out of the, see his hand down there? It's a little inconvenient, but it's also not terrible. And it does have like a detent on each end, so you can like push it all the way and it'll stay until that cylinder hits, and then it will kick out. Now that's kind of handy, especially for something like this where you're going all the way this, you know, up or all the way down. And you can see the slop in the lift mechanism here right above the tires, especially. There's a lot of slop right there, and that's going to be addressed in a future video. Just saying, that is going to be addressed. But you can see the whole thing kind of sucks down in the ground like it should. And honestly, I think we're going a little deep here still, but we're working it in the winter, or basically, I mean, it was winter. It was December when we did this. Working it in the winter, leaving it rough. You notice we've taken off all the harrow or the drag, whatever you want to call it, you know, that was behind the cultivator. We took all that off. Well, partly because, you know, it mounted to the wings and we kind of have to redo the mounts for it and stuff. We do plan on putting that back on. I still would like to make it flip up or flip down, depending, like, you know, you're working in the winter, you can leave it rough. It's going to catch snow, whatever. Might as well leave it a little rougher in the winter anyway. So it doesn't, you know, it doesn't matter. We're not going to try to go out and plant in this next week. So it doesn't matter if you leave it rough. As opposed to, say, if you wanted to prep your seed bed for planting something in the spring, flip it down and have a little smoother patch. So either way, this thing's awesome. I think it's a really good addition to the farm. It's something we are going to use a lot, I feel like, next year, or this year now. It is 21, actually, never mind. But I've actually, for years, I've been wanting something to go on the Power King, even smaller, 5 feet wide maybe, or something, I don't know. But this one, like I said, for 150, 160 bucks, however you want to look at it, I don't think it's bad personally at all. And you know, Dad wasn't out here very long. He was not out here very long doing this, and like I said, he had fun with it. So hey, win as far as I'm concerned. And the 995 gets a little bit of a workout, which that's always good. And you know, it's kind of fun playing in the dirt, you know, let's be real, just saying. So there you go. It's just, I don't know, man, it's awesome. Super happy with our purchase, and I kind of want to go work like 30-40 acres with it now, you know. I don't have that much dirt to work with it, but I would totally go do that. I just need some GPS, some auto steer. No, I'm kidding. My rows wouldn't be straight at all, I can tell you that much. Especially with that tractor steering's kind of, it's a thing. Anyway, I don't know. I could film this thing all day. I just loved it. Love the way it's making the ground boil. And like I said, of course, it is loose dirt. So, yeah. Do you guys have any comments, concerns, anything like that? Feel free to leave them. in the comment section down below. I can't promise when the next video will be in the series, but it should be soonish. And there it is after we're all done. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, that's Oodles.